Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of You're Not Getting Fucked Anymore. I'm your host, Louis Rossman, and today I wanted to follow up on a video that I did many years ago and a possible solution for this, at the very least when it comes to the government getting access to data that they're not supposed to about you. In this video, I talked about AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile selling your location data without your consent to advertisers, bounty hunters, and bail bondsmen. Like, essentially, it was just a free-for-all of whoever wanted your data. And one of the customers for this data can often actually be law enforcement agencies and the U.S. government. So if you want to do a search and seizure on me, you would have to get a warrant. But if you don't have the ability to get a warrant, maybe you just don't feel like getting a warrant, what you could do is you could just figure out which one of the stupid fucking 1 or 3,000 pieces of hardware or applications I have that has a 300-page end-user license agreement that says they could sell my data to anybody, go to that broker or that company and buy the data directly from them. So instead of having to get a warrant, you can just grab the data from somewhere else. And the government has been doing this quite a bit. Even if they can't get a warrant for the particular case that they're working, what they can do is they can just go to a data broker or another company that may have that information and purchase that information from them that they would not have been able to get through a lawful court order, which is very fucked up. And there's a bill that came out recently from Thomas Massie, is the Surveillance Accountability Act, and it's pretty cool. I highly suggest that you read through this bill. We're not talking about something that's pages upon pages of legalese. When you take a look at the text of the bill, I think it's about 8 pages. This is 8 pages, and this is even when you have the page being mostly taken up by blank space over here. So I thought I would read the parts that I found to be most interesting from this bill and share it with you. A, presumption of privacy. The government shall not access any data, metadata, or personal information held by a third party, including financial services providers, telecommunications service providers, internet service providers, cloud storage companies, or data brokers without a valid warrant, regardless of whether the third party consents or cooperates. So the whole idea here is that an end-user license agreement that you sign does not override the Constitution or the Bill of Rights or the Fourth Amendment. A lot of companies will try to sneak these clauses into their terms of service that say that you consent to them sharing their data with law enforcement, and usually you think that means in the case of a crime or a warrant, but in reality the way this works is even if law enforcement does not have a warrant, that end-user license agreement allows them to share the data with law enforcement without a valid warrant, which makes it very easy for them to get that data. Again, especially when you're talking about living in an age where literally your fucking robot vacuum is sucking up data on you and has these end-user license agreements where it can share that data. And that's particularly alarming since a lot of companies that collect this type of data are not only collecting the websites that you go to, but also your TV is collecting your voice, your robot vacuum has a camera. You see where I'm going with this. The exemptions described in subsection B shall not be construed to permit the warrantless collection, retention, querying, or analysis of data exposed to public view if the person associated with the collection identifiers did not express informed and voluntary consent to such collection with respect to data gathered by entering a public place, operating a motor vehicle on a public roadway, including biometric data, including facial images, face prints, gait, voice recognition, or other unique physical identifiers, license plate images, flock, vehicle metadata, or vehicle movement patterns obtained through automated license plate readers or similar systems. And it does actually say that you can hold them accountable here. Section 3 creates a direct right of action for citizens to sue. This is one of the reasons that I think this may not have the best chance of getting passed. Direct right of action means that you don't have to wait for somebody from the government to take up your case for you. So if a bill has no private right of action, what that means is that if somebody breaks the law, you have to hope and pray that your attorney general in your state gives a shit and doesn't send a bullshit form letter like in California saying, hire your own lawyer if you want us to give a shit, because we're not going to. They're actually going to allow you to take the government to court if they do this. You have the ability personally to hold them accountable and responsible, which is, again, I would expect nothing less from a Thomas Massie bill at this point. Every person, including a federal employee, who under color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of the United States subjects or causes to be subjected any citizen of the United States to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Fourth Amendment shall be liable to the party injured in an action at law, suit in equity, or other proper proceeding for redress. It looks like one of the co-sponsors of this bill is actually Lauren Boebert, which is... I like the bill. I'm just going to leave it at that. I think that it's worth reading through. You're looking at something that, again, is 8 pages. You're not looking at something that is really difficult to read. It is written in what, in my opinion, is plain text. It's not written to be highly obscured so that the normal average person isn't able to make sense of it. And I would love to see this get passed. And I think it's really important to take note of who in Congress pushes for this to be voted on and who tries to keep it from being voted on. who votes yes on it and who votes no on it. I think that's going to be very telling, and this is one of those bills that I think, again, I'm not the most politically savvy person, but that I can see something going on where they try to hide the fact that they don't want this voted on because they don't really want people on the record saying, no, this is horrible. How dare you allow people to have Fourth Amendment rights? I think Thomas Massie did a pretty damn good job on this, and yeah, I approve. I like it. Not that the people that make stuff like this need my approval, but wish we had more of this. Everybody in Congress should be for something like this. It's literally just reaffirming the rights that you already have. It's really just reaffirming that companies have to follow the law. And if you take a look at what happened in this case, I'll be honest with you, I'm actually mad that the government punished these companies. When AT&T has to pay a fine that's about 0.2% of their net profit, that's an attaboy. That's a go do it again. Think about it. Let's just say that I killed somebody. Now, if I never get punished, I'm going to live in fear that I could get caught and something bad could happen to me. So maybe I'll think twice before killing somebody again. But if I go to trial and they fine me $20 for murder, wow. Hey, I don't like you. Poof. Let me just do it again and again and again because I realize that there's no actual consequence. What the government did in finding AT&T and T-Mobile and Verizon such low percentages of their net profit, something like $40 to $57 million after they've made billions upon billions of profit, what they did is they actually encouraged more of it. They're telling these companies, please continue selling data because if you do, we are going to fine you such a small percentage of the money that you actually made off of these practices that it's a joke. I'm not happy with the way that the FCC came down on or did not come down on AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile because it really set a precedent that if you break these types of laws and if you break your own end user license agreements, who cares? Just who cares? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What are the chances that you think this has of actually being voted on? And are you the type of person that is actually open to contacting your congressional representative and senator to let them know that you want to see this get voted on and you want them to vote yes on it and that you'll be watching? I hope you do. That's it for today. And as always, hope you learned something. I'll include a link to this down below so that when contacting your senator and Congress representative to let them know that you want to see this voted on and you want to see them vote yes, that you'll be able to link them to the text of the bill. Bye now.